Welcome to Rigged or Fair, and today we're going to break down the Sugar and Spice lip sync. I analyzed the entire performance shot by shot and assigned points to each queen's edit, taking into account reaction shots, confessionals, sound effects, and camera angles. The more the edit favors one queen, the higher the possibility that the lip sync was rigged. Keep in mind that rigged lip syncs are the exception, not the rule, and editing can be equally used as a form of storytelling or to actively deceive the audience, so context matters. Let's begin with an overview. This lip sync is very different from the previous one for multiple reasons. So far, it's the shortest. With a total duration of 1 minute and 32.6 seconds, it's almost 30 seconds shorter than the previous two, which seems to be consistent, with Spice claiming that the editors cut a portion of their performance where they put on fake teeth and, quote, trolled everyone. Of course, there's no way to know for sure. Lip syncs are always shorter than the song itself, so take all of this with a grain of salt. But considering that I see no reason to lie and the lip sync really is shorter than the previous two, I had to sharpen my skills a little bit and try to find out if there are some clues in the performance as to where this section could have been cut from. This was not easy, but I managed to find something, and I'll show you later after we go through the numbers. Also, during the performance, we were shown one confessional from Marsha that affects multiple camera shots in a positive or negative way. So, as usual, I'm going to visually break it down according to the camera shot that they are connected to. The total camera time for Sugar is 17 seconds. She gets one reaction shot from Amandla, one from Carlson, and she also gets a curious video edit that we're going to check out later once we break down the performance shot by shot and assign editing points. The camera time for Spice is 11.4 seconds, and she gets one positive reaction shot from RuPaul. The queens are together on screen for 46.9 seconds, and together they get 3 portions of Marsha's confessional and a whopping 6 reaction shots. 2 from Michelle, 1 from Amandla, 1 from RuPaul, and 2 from the entire panel of judges. This is the second anomaly in this lip sync. It's the first time that we see the entire panel of judges reacting to a performance. The total time in which we see exclusively reaction shots and confessionals is 17.3 seconds. There are also 2 reaction shots of RuPaul looking back and forth between 2 queens. I considered those neutral and I didn't add them to our analysis. The entire performance is littered with sound effects and audio edits from the queens cheering in the background. The massive use of audio edits is the third difference from the previous lip syncs. This is actually the first time in this season where we spent the vast majority of the lip sync time seeing both queens on screen. This was a twin sync, after all, and it looks like it was edited accordingly. Personally, I prefer this kind of edit because first-person shots can be deceiving, while seeing both queens together on screen gives a little bit of a better idea of how they are performing or outperforming each other's. Now let's break down the performance into the camera shots and assign editing points. As always, remember the points don't represent a judgment of the queen's performance, but how much the edit was in their favor. I changed these tables slightly compared to the previous 2 lip sync because I think it makes it a little bit easier to understand, so let me know if it's better. We are always in time to revert back. Now for each camera shot, we have the total duration in second, the kind of editing used, and the multiplier that can be positive or negative depending if the editing was used to highlight the camera shot in a positive or negative way. Sugar appears solo in 11 camera shots. The positive reaction shot from Amandla and the audio edits from the queens cheering in the background highlight her performance in a positive way, and they are worth double points. Camera shot number 10 is an interesting one, and I'm going to show you this, because we have multiple editing tricks that are used to affect Sugar's performance in a negative way. So let's take a step back and start with camera shot number 9. This is a first-person shot where we start to see that Sugar is falling. Then the camera abruptly cuts into camera shot number 10, where we can get the full view of her falling. The whole thing lasts less than a second and a half, and it could have been easily shown as a single, wide camera shot. However, a quick switch from close-up to wide shots captures the viewer attention much better and can better highlight what's happened on screen. This is why I considered this video edit to be very relevant. Moreover, the falling is also highlighted by a sound effect in order to grab the viewer's attention even more. See if you can hear it. The whole thing is then followed by a negative reaction shot from Carlson in order to tie it all together into a nice package. For this reason, this section gets a negative multiplier of 4, one for the camera time itself and one for each editing trick that was used to highlight the camera shot. In total, Sugar's edit gets 23.06 points. Spice appears solo in 7 camera shots. Like Sugar, she gets multiple audio edits from the queens cheering in the background. There is also a positive reaction shot from RuPaul, and all of these shots are worth double points. Her solo edit gets in total 18.52 points. Now let's move on to the biggest portion of the lip sync, when both queens appears on screen together. 16 camera shots show them next to each other without a clear preference for one or the other. These sections are highlighted positively by audio edits of the queens cheering in the background, reaction shots, and portions of Marsha's confessional. Camera shot number 10 is worth triple points since it gets a positive reaction shot from Michelle and an audio edit from the queens in the background. Camera shot number 11 is worth triple negative points. This shot is part of a negative streak, and it also contains a sound effect, and it's preceded by a negative reaction shot from Amanda. The rest of the shots show a clear preference for one queen, highlighting her performance at the expense of the other. When this happens, the highlighted queen gets positive points, the other gets negative points. Editing also affects the multiplier as well. Sugar is clearly favored in 5 camera shots, but in 2 of those she's highlighted negatively. Once by a confessional from Marsha, the second time by a reaction shot of the judges, and Carcel screaming her to run.
You have choreographed the entire thing somehow? You better run!
Run!
Both of those sections follow each other and show Sugar not performing and trying to untie her shoe. So for these reasons, she's going to get double negative points, while Spice gets double positive points. Spice is favored in 4 camera shots, and the last 2 are worth double points, since they are highlighted by a positive confessional from Marsha and a good reaction shot from the whole panel of judges. Now let's round up the numbers and show the final result. Sugar's edit gets 61.1 points, which is 44.4% of the total points, while Spice's edit gets 76.4 points, which is 55.6% of the total points. And although the edit shows a slight favor towards Spice, I consider this part of the normal storytelling in reality television, and for me, this lip sync was fair. It's going to be interesting to see what happens by the end of the season. This lip sync was very different from the previous ones, for a number of reasons, and it really was a twin sync. It was also one of the most edited lip sync of the season, and although the edit didn't clearly favor one queen or the other in a significant way, I think it's relevant to show how much the producers wanted us to pay attention to what was happening. Now, going back to the part where the lip sync was allegedly cut, and see if we can find something that dramatically changes from one shot to the other. But at the beginning I couldn't really find anything, until I realized that the queen's shoes left 2 marks on the main stage, one white and one black. Those 2 streaks had to be left by the 2 queens, either at the same time or maybe at different times. Nevertheless, now we have something to look at. Keep in mind the position. I'm going to cut it and leave it on screen so we have it always there. So at this point I started rewinding the lip sync and see where did they come from, and I couldn't find the queens physically leaving those marks. In the beginning of the lip sync, the marks are not there. This is the last shot where they are absent. However, they magically appear immediately after. It's the shots where we see Spice pulling on Sugar from a distance. So these are the marks, and this is what we see before, and this is what we see after. I even tried to modify this portion of the stage in order to overlap it and see if maybe the perspective is playing a little bit of a trick on us. But it turned out that this was not really the case. Those marks seem to appear out of nowhere. Even Sugar's position changes. So at this point, I only see 2 possible explanations. Either the queens played this pulling on one another a couple of times, maybe the first time with Sugar managing to escape, only to be recaptured later on. Or maybe the perspective is really so distorted that those marks are really there in this last shot, but we are not able to see it. To me, it seems unlikely considering what I showed you before. Regardless, between the moment where the floor is clean and the moment where we see those marks from both queen shoes appearing, we actually never see them walking in that part of the stage. So this had to be the section where the lip sync was spliced together. Of course, some might argue that there's a possibility that the lip sync was refilmed. Personally, I gotta be honest, I never saw any evidence of a refilmed lip sync in the US seasons. And I do my job for the channel pretty diligently. World of Wonder has transformed editing of the lip sync into an art form, and I can very easily manipulate the editing to overturn the result of a performance. We've seen it happen, even with queens admitting that they didn't even know the words of the performance. So, to me, they really have no need to refilm a lip sync in the first place, and I never found any evidence to suggest that they ever did. Now, in conclusion, I found this lip sync very interesting, because it's so different from the previous ones on so many levels. And even though different episodes of the season are usually edited by different teams of editors, I think that lip sync are different, and they are the priority of either the same editor or the same team of editors who takes care of all of them. So I'm really looking forward to find out more about their editing style for the season and then draw some final conclusions once we see the whole season. Now, on Sunday during the lives, I promised you I would make a graph for the Snatch game like I usually used to do for the Chop. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can hear it, but I caught a little bit of seasonal fever and I tried my best to get at least this video out. But this was shared on my Discord and it's data for the Snatch game. And I think it might be at least a little bit useful in highlighting how the edit clearly focused on some queens while almost completely ignoring some others. So thank you so much for sharing it. Also, we have no speculations, unfortunately, but I made my ranks. And of course, I'll show you as soon as possible. I don't know if I will manage to come on stream this Sunday. I think so, because it's been a good 2 days like this, so it's almost time to recover. But as usual, I'll keep you informed about what's going to happen. So keep up the notifications, don't forget to ring the bell. If you don't receive a notification, don't worry, you're not alone. Thank you so much for watching and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Special thanks to our patrons for supporting the channel, and if you would like to support the channel as well, there's a link in the description. I'll see you soon and have a great day.